Travel days are a big day for us. It typically starts the day before. We start to prep everything, get things ready so that when we wake up on travel morning, a lot of the stuff that we could do is already done. One of the things that I do, I program our Garmin. Now we use the Garmin because we can put our rig information into it, the height, the length, the width, and if we're carrying propane or not. And it's important for us to be able to know that the roads that we're traveling down will allow our particular vehicle, our particular rig setup to travel down that road. I use RV Trip Wizard to actually plan out the route. And then I look at the route that RV Trip Wizard is sending us. And then what I do is I will go into the Garmin and I'll pre-plan our trip. Now, one of the things that I can do by pre-planning our trip is to go into the Garmin, tell it where we're coming from, where we're going, and what stops we want to make along the way. Only stops that we really make along the way would be to get gas or arrest areas. One of the things that we've found with the fifth wheel is that we really have to pre-plan our gas stops. We didn't need to do that so much when we had our Lance because the height of the Lance was just a little over 10 feet and we could get into most gas stations. But with the fifth wheel, we're 13 foot 3 inches. And we want to be able to make sure that when we pull up into a gas station, that we're not going to get ourselves into a bind where we can't get out. So one of the things that I do is I use Google Maps to find the gas stations that is the specified distance. I use about 200 miles from our original starting spot because I always fill the gas tank the night before we travel. When we leave in the morning, we're traveling on a full tank of gas. We have 48 gallons of gasoline. We get about 8 miles to the gallon when we're towing. We can go about 340 miles or so, give or take, but we never get that close. We want to get gas right around the 200-mile mark just to be on the safe side. So there's a feature in RV Trip Wizard that will tell us where the 200-mile radius is. When I see where that line is on the roads that we're traveling, I can use those locations on those particular roadways and then search for gas stations that are in that vicinity. And I find those gas stations by either RV Trip Wizard or going into Google Maps and using Google Maps to try to find gas stations in that area. Typically, we want to try to stop at TA travel centers, Pilots, Flying J's, Loves. They are big enough for us most of the time. So what I'll do is when I find a gas station that we want to stop at, I can go into Google Maps, I can go into satellite view, I can check out the roadways going into there, and then I can go down to street view and make sure that the canopy at that gas station has enough height for us to get under and that it would be easy to traverse in and traverse back out of that gas station. That's one of the first things that I do the day before a travel day. Another thing that I do the day before we travel is I charge our tire pressure monitoring system. We could run a power cable to it and eventually we're going to get a little bit of a different setup and we'll be able to do that. But currently I have it just mounted to a suction cup on the windshield and I can charge it and it'll hold a charge for quite some time. We use the TST monitoring system. It's the one that came with the Brinkley. They have a different actual monitor module that I would like to get. That one is colored and touchscreen and it has magnet mount and it's a lot nicer, but we're just using the one that came with the Brinkley one. After I get that charged, I'll come out, I'll mount it into the truck on the windshield. I'll turn it on and it takes a few minutes for it to start displaying the temperatures and the tire pressures of each of the tires. Now I'll let that run for a few minutes and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to check those tire pressures for each tire and make sure that they're set manufactured specifications for our trailer. Now the dealer told us that our trailer should be set at 123 PSI. One of the other things that I do is I will pull out the torque wrench and I will torque our lug nuts to make sure that they are all to specification, which should be 100 foot-pounds per lug on our travel trail.
Hi everyone, tomorrow is a travel day. So tonight I'm gonna get my dishes packed up because it takes a while. And it's just one less thing to do in the mornings. Here's how we go. I don't have anything but the original boxes that it came in, and that's what I'm using. I start with these guys. I'll go up into the bedroom closet.
Another thing that I do the day before travel is I clean the grill. We typically will not barbecue on the grill or use the grill the day before travel. I take the time to get this nice and clean so that when we get to the next site, it's clean and ready for us to use. How I do that is I have several pieces of equipment that I use. This is just a grill brush to get off the stubborn stuff that might be caked on there. And then I have the grill rescue. And the grill rescue is really a nice item. What you do is you heat your grill up to 400 degrees, 450 degrees, you shut it off. This pad is immersed in water, and then you just take and you rub this along the grill, and it'll clean off all of the stuff that's on there. Once I've done that, I let it all cool down, and then I typically will take paper towels and I'll wipe off all of the stuff that I can underneath the grates that are on there. So I've got the grill heating up right now, and I'll take my Rescue Pro pad, attach it to the handle, and I put it into this water bucket, and I just get this totally soaked with water so that it's fully drenched. So I've got the grill just at 450 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and turn off all of the gas to the grill, open it up. I'm going to take the grill rescue and just start cleaning it. Grates are all cleaned off. All I have left to do is let it cool down, pull the grates off, wipe the underneath of the grates, wipe the entire inside of the grill down with paper towel, empty the tray, put a new tray in, pack it up, and we're on our way. Well, travel day is here. Typically on a travel day, we wake up pretty early. If you know me, I get out of bed around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. Even since we've been in the RV, I get out of bed about 5 o'clock. On travel days, Wendy gets out of bed at 6, and we start getting the stuff done that we need to get done. I typically work outside, Wendy works inside, and there's a lot to do. So stay with us as we show you what travel day looks like.
Good morning, everybody. Today is our travel day. And I'm just going to quick get my coffee ready, and then we're going to go through some of the things that I do on the inside while Pat's out on the outside, prepping for travel day and getting things ready. We took the plates out last night and we stored those. I put the boxes up into the closet in the bedroom. These are cups from our nightstand. They're Yeti cups. I love them. They're super perfect size for nighttime water. Dogs have been fed. They've been outside. The next thing I need to do is get the refrigerator prepped. So I'm going to put some extension poles to keep things in place. I'll roll up all the carpet and just make sure everything's buttoned down in this part of the trailer. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll check back with you. All right, so let me show you what that looks like inside the fridge. So I just put these tension bars here and here. Everything else, these drawers are forever. They hold everything amazing. Shelves, all that, it'll be fine. We've not had a problem. And then just in the freezer, I kind of readjusted so I have everything with tension bars as well. I'm going to grab some ice because I want to fill water bottles too. One of the other things I always do is try to get the water bottles filled before Pat unhooks the water, and he's out there now doing stuff, so hopefully he'll let me know before he goes ahead and shuts that off. All right, so I just wanted to show you this water bottle. This one is for the dogs, and this is this cool little collapsible bowl. I'm not sure what brand it is. If I ever find out, I'll let you know. Can't read anything on there right now, but we have two of them. This one, that'll go in the truck. Filled the water bottles. We're big fans of these. I love these, except they're heavy for hiking. All right, so the next thing I gotta do is I'm gonna store dog food bowls and water bowls, but I'll leave the water for a little while. I'm gonna put those right here in the garbage can, and then we'll do the recycling and garbage before we go. So they're in the back one where underneath the recycling, so they're fine.
So some of the things I need to get done this morning is I need to put both flags away, get the Starlink put away, get that table put away. Then we'll get ready to work on the other side of the trailer.
Probably are able to leave your coffee pots on the counter, and that's awesome. Tell me if you have any magical tricks. We haven't tried leaving it on the counter. I typically just, every day actually, after we're done, I just wipe out the inside and keep that nice and dry. And then I unplug it and I'll just store it on the bottom of the pantry, which works pretty well for us, and I like doing it that way. These used to be on our old lamps. They're just those things that go over the sink, and I put them down there because that helps with things from sliding around. That's where I'm gonna put the coffee pot. I use these baskets. They have stayed, everything has stayed. I've not had any problems on travel day, so I'm gonna go ahead and move the coffee pot into the cupboard minus the pot because there's still coffee in it. But let me know how you store your coffee pot or if you just leave it on the counter and things are fine. Then this cupboard is kind of where all the coffee and things go. Haven't had a problem yet. I leave my frother up there. We have the air escape for all the coffee, so the grounds that we just bought, the beans that we just bought the other day are ground and put in the air escape. I've left that cupboard as is, haven't had a problem there.
We use this Camco foldable aluminum table to put the grill on. Breaks down really simply.
The other little thing that is great for travel day is stored right on the magnet in that cupboard, and that is the fridge lock. So it's super easy, just gentle screw it in there, don't force it, and that has kept the fridge and freezer closed on travel day, and we haven't had a problem with that either, knock on wood. Medicine cabinet empty. Put some stuff down in here. Yep, there's the liquefy. We met those guys. And then shower, everything there. I put some in here and then some under the sink. I did stuff the towels next to my baskets there, so then they stay in place. Other than that, this is magnetic to the wall, toilet tissue, so that looks good.
For those that don't know what this is a MORride hitch stabilizer. Installed this yesterday. Again, we're trying to combat some of the movement that we have inside of our trailer. It seems to work pretty well. It minimized a lot of the movement in the rear of the trailer, which is exactly what we were trying to achieve.
I did forget a couple of things on the counter. This is a glass bowl from Ireland that I don't want to break, so I'm going to put that down in the cupboard down there. And then I just have this basket that I'm just going to put in the pantry, and it should stay nice right there. I'm going to then finish up living room. The dog kennels are collapsible, super nice. I can also put a link to what they are there. Hi, Indy. Ruby's over on the couch. That pillow I'm going to take upstairs. So we're debating if we want to put the ottoman sideways and then a pillow between it and the fireplace. We've seen other Z3100 owners do that. I'm curious if anybody's tried that, if it works or not. I think for today we'll do the old-fashioned way, which is just using the straps and tightening it up with the chairs. Those are already in place. We've got the dehumidifiers stored underneath one and then a big charging battery under the other. There are some extra boxes here still that we'll leave. They seem to have been fine. I'll vacuum, roll up the rugs, check underneath the slide-in part and make sure nothing's trapped under there or even underneath here, because sometimes things get trapped under there and we don't want that to happen because that's not good for the slide.
One of the things that's amazing about the solar package that we had put in by ABC Upfitters is that I can turn the power off to the RV while Wendy's inside getting all of her stuff done. She doesn't even know the difference that the power is turned off. The inverter kicks in, it starts drawing power from the battery, and it powers literally everything that's on inside of the RV. So this is the amazing setup that we have from ABC Upfitters. That is our 3,500 watt Combi Master inverter, our 460 amp hour lithium Master Volt battery, our 60 MPPT solar controller, all of the wiring, which is pretty amazing, fuses, shut-off switches, progressive inline smart surge protector. And again, she's inside doing her thing and doesn't even know that I've disconnected the power. And one of the things I'm very particular about is making sure that our cords stay pretty well protected. These 50 amp cords are extremely thick and heavy.
Attachment. Aha. Yeah.
The other thing that I need to do is remove this tripod stabilizer. Now, we just added this to give us stabilization in the front of the RV because we did have quite a bit of wobble up there, and this seemed to take a lot of that out. Yesterday Wendy did a load of laundry, and before on the spin cycle we would feel every single spin of that washer. Now we hardly feel anything. So we've eliminated a lot of the shake in our trailer just by adding this tripod and the MORryde hitch stabilizer.
I love my Dyson. We have it stored in here. Although on travel days, I do not leave it on the wall. I just store it underneath along with the attachments. The other thing I need to do is make sure that Patrick's CPAP is empty and stored. And then I will check back with you as far as getting all of my pretty little knickknacks put away and the fan and basket that you see over here.
Honey, you okay if I kill the Starlink? I always have to ask before I do that, just in case she might be surfing the net or doing something, but I know she's extremely busy on the inside. So the first thing I need to do is go ahead and go into the Starlink app and put it into stow mode. Now I've got to go up to the roof and get the Starlink down, but one of the other things that I do while I'm up there is I check to make sure that there's nothing on top of the slides. Branches, leaves, acorns, any of that kind of stuff can really create havoc when we bring the slides in and can damage the slides. So I'm going to do that while I'm up there as well.
Got everything cleared off. On the top of that, I'm going to put this little guy and the Govee in there. Travel days, I do that, and then we just put those pictures up. The storage for my chargers are in the side tables, which we had added because we chose to have a queen bed. We wanted the side tables. I put the fan on the bed. It has stayed secure. I put all my little trinkets inside here, put the pillow on top, that'll stay secure. I'll put that in there, and we should be good to go in the bedroom. The last thing that I'll do in here is I'll bring the dog kennels up and just set them on the bed. Everything else, oh, these baskets, I do take them down, just because if not, they'll fall down. We used to just have stuff sitting on the shelves, but that always fell down too on travel days, so this just makes it easier.
So we've got this great case that we use for storing the Starlink. It's actually by Starlink. It was super expensive, but we want to make sure that we really protect this because this is our main source of internet access. Now the only two things that we store in here is the base and dishy.
So windows are closed, kennel is stored, pillow there. I check to make sure the bed is all the way pushed in. It is. I also double checked that the shower door was locked, which it is. So we're done in there. Rugs are stored, and then we'll come back down here. These are some really nice baskets too, by the way, that we ordered on Amazon. And they came for like cheap. I don't remember how much. We'll put that in the link. But they store really nicely under there. So I have two on that side and two on the other side. Well, hello there, doggy.
So I just checked in with Wendy, and she's done with anything to do with the toilet and anything to do with water, so I'm okay to disconnect. So the first thing I'm going to do is just disconnect the water. So the water comes in through this black hose, goes through a pressure gauge so that we set the pressure so that it doesn't blow out our plumbing system on our RV. It goes through the 3-stage filter. After that, it goes up, goes through the water softener, and then it goes into our rig. And then we also have a meter here that tells us exactly how much water we use. And I reset this every time we get to a new site.
Sunshine in your eyes, Ruby. Goodness, are you getting ready for travel day? You look very calm. We are ready to go. That stuff needs to be loaded. We're gonna tie down the ottoman. That stuff will get loaded. Indy's ready to go. Not yet, bud, soon. That's going with us. This needs to go bye-bye. It's one of those bug things. It's a Zevo bug catcher. Yeah, not real thrilled with it, but we had a gnat problem, which we did take care of with vinegar and baking soda and hot water down the drains, which we haven't seen any since.
So anytime I'm dealing with anything with the black water, I always put on gloves just because. I have a separate hose that we use for the black water tank, and this is to flush the black water tank. Every time we empty, we try to flush the black water tank just because debris gets caught in there. Stuff sits at the very bottom, and we want to try to flush as much of that out as we can. The Brinkley is really nice in the fact that it has just a switch in order to open up the valves for the drain. I also have this secondary Valterra valve, which is just a safety valve down here. So I'll open up that and then I'll empty the black tank. So now the black tank is mostly empty and I'm just running fresh water through the tank, which will flush out a majority of the leftovers that's in that tank.
Garbage and recycling's ready to go out. So inside are our Yeti dog bowls and water bowls. And then I just simply make sure all my cabinets are closed. This one, I make sure it's pushed back because that's my Speedy. But I'll make sure that's all closed, and then I will wipe down all the counters and we'll be good to go on this end, and I'll work with Pat to get the slides in. We do use walkie-talkies when we do the slides. We also use walkie-talkies for backing up and getting into spots, and so those are ready to go. They're all charged.
So while the gray tank is flushing out, I'm gonna get the black tank flush stuff all put away. Now once the gray tank is empty, I'll shut off this Valterra second valve. I'm gonna disconnect the hose at this end. Then I have to empty what's left in the hose. Once that hose is empty, it's gonna store it into its spot. Now I use these stainless steel carabiners in order to make sure that that door stays closed. Now the last thing I do is I just put the connections away, close everything up in the sealed container. And of course I gotta sanitize the hands. Now I have to get the bed of the truck ready. Now because we have a gooseneck hitch, one of the things that people have difficulty with is getting the hitch right over the ball in the bed of the truck. We found this gooseneck hookup helper, which is pretty amazing. All we do is we stick this onto the ball. It allows me to be able to see where the center of the pin is and the center of the ball. And once this pops off, and we'll show you in the video, I know that I'm directly centered over the ball in the truck.
So Pat's on the outside talking about how we use walkie-talkies when we close our slides. I'm on the inside, he's on the outside.
One of the things that we do when we take the slides in is Wendy is on the inside. I'm on the outside watching what's going on out here. And we use walkie-talkies to communicate because the noise on the slides is so loud that even if she was to say something, I wouldn't be able to hear her. So we want to know that if something's going on the inside, she sees something or I see something, that we can go ahead and stop the slide from coming in. Now Brinkley uses the Lippert One control app, and so I can control the slides from outside.
We label them: 1 is to your left, 2 is to your right, and the third one is up in the bedroom. So we'll see when he's ready. We'll hear a walkie call.
Are you ready for 1?
Yep, let her go.
Are you ready for 2?
Yes.
Are you ready for 3?
Walking up there now. Let me double check. Yes. And then I'll... Alrighty, be right out. Shut that. Make sure this is locked in the open position. So, I'm gonna be walking out to the truck.
on this Brinkley door, when we first got it, we got to our very first site and somebody told us that the door was open. We were not aware of that. So I had to adjust the plate that's on the inside of the frame. And then we always make sure, two things, that we make sure that it's pushed all the way closed and that we lock it. And one of the reasons why we lock it is it throws the deadbolt so that the door will stay shut. All right, handles in. The last thing I want to do is I want to show you this little monitor, and this is from ABC Upfitters. And like I said, we've been running on battery power for probably a little bit over an hour right now. The sun's coming up. I just checked it a little bit ago and we were at 97%. But it says that we have 2 days and 5 hours that we could run at the current draw that we have. The nice thing about this is what I was trying to say earlier, is that we can unplug first thing in the morning on travel day, and we have enough power to be able to get everything done that we need to do. Now, the other nice thing is when we hook up, I'm gonna plug the truck into the trailer through the DC to DC converter, and the DC to DC converter will charge the battery as we're driving down the road. The next thing that we need to do is we need to bring up the rear levelers. Wendy's watching back there to let us know when the levelers are all the way up. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to auto hitch. We're going to hit enter, and it's going to raise the trailer to the height that it was right before we auto level, so that we know that we can back in safely without hitting anything, and it will be the right height above the ball.
Come in a little more. It looks like you're going to be just fine to clear it. Yep, you're good.
This is the DC to DC converter plug, Anderson plug, that ABC Upfitters put into the back of the truck. And it's hooked up to the battery, and it uses the alternator off of the truck to charge the 460 amp hour battery that is on our trailer. And it does that while we're driving down the road. So it's pretty simple. I just hook this up, push it in. Simple as that. Next, we hook up the 7-pin, just like any normal truck. And then lastly, the safety brake. And that's what the connections look like when they're fully connected. I already did the safety chains, which are required when you're having a gooseneck, unlike a fifth wheel where you don't have to have the safety chains. But you can see the safety chains are mounted right there.
Hi, kids. Indy's all harnessed in, ready to go. I'll put the walkies back there. Hi, Rubes. Are you ready to go? I know, we're going to Pennsylvania today. We're heading out soon.
Now I always do one final walk around just to make sure that everything is copacetic. Turn off the propane. Doors locked, covers on. All the lights are functioning. Doors are locked. Ooh, that one's not. Door's locked. I screw these all the way in on my flagpole buddy so that they won't vibrate out during travel. I replaced them with metal ones. They came with plastic ones and I just didn't like those, so. Looks like everything is good.
There we go. Beautiful grassy hill. And a beautiful Brinkley following us. So, trash and recycling is over here. And the cool thing is they recycle. A lot of places don't. And that's always been kind of a frustration, but these guys do, so yay for them.
If you enjoyed what you saw, please like our video and subscribe to our channel. That way you'll get notifications when our next video comes out. And we'll see you on the next episode.